Uh, Morning, everyone. Here, Grow with Joe here to give you more personal finance lessons and personal development lessons to help improve your life. Uh, if you don't know this about me, one of my first degrees was I studied public health. I studied public health because I thought I wanted to go into physical therapy. And then because like as a kid in high school, I tore my ACL and I went to physical therapy and I really enjoyed that process. And then didn't do very well in chemistry. And then plus I had to go get physical therapy for my back. And I was like, nah, this is probably not for me. And that was like 8 years later after that. So things change as people. Um, and and then when I was doing physical therapy, I realized like, hey, everything is connected. Like, oh, you want to do this? Oh, this is like this outcome is affected by this outcome over here. Learned a lot in my epidemiology class in terms of what's in front of you is probably not the root cause of the issue. We learned about John Snow, who's like known as the father of public health, and he's the one who discovered cholera in a water pump in London. So most people thought it came from the air, it came from some other things, but he was able to look at a map and like circle all the different areas. Like, oh, these people are getting sick. These people, and oh, guess what? They're all drinking from the same water pump. And then he just like, hey, we're gonna shut off, and he was able to end the cholera in that area. I don't know completely, but like dramatically reduced it. And so you realize like, oh, like what is the root cause? Like, oh, it's this water pump. That's why I combine financial planning with self-development coaching, because I realized like, hey, if you want to do financial planning, you need to have money. In order to have money, you need to have a good career. In order to have a good career, you need to be a competent individual. And in order to be a competent individual, you need to grow yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And this is why still after school, I'm always learning, I'm always reading new books, I'm always listening to podcasts, I'm always working out. I'm going to do yoga right after this Facebook Live. I write in my journal, so don't let my emotions overcome myself. And I work on myself spiritually, which it comes from the journaling and doing all these experiences, so I know what I want to do with my life. And so everything is connected. And I realize there's some things that happen in financial planning that could also affect you with your personal life. And one of the concepts that really helps you with that shows that like, hey, REITs, if you look at REITs, I'm pulling up the chart right now. According to MFS and their Callan chart, REITs have a standard deviation of 19.3%, which means, hey, any given year, this asset class has a chance to be up 19.38%, or it could be down 19.3%. Or if we go and look at 95% of the chance, it could be up 40%, or it could be down 40%, close, very close to those numbers. If we look at 95% chance happening, so that's a pretty wide range. And if we look at large cap value stocks, it's 14.59%. So it could be up 30% or it could be down 30%, 95% chance of the year. Most of the time, it's going to be somewhere near that number of 14, up or down 14%. So it all depends. So the idea is like, hey, if we're getting a REIT's got a 11.3% return over the last 11 years, you got to realize like, hey, I'm going to take a lot of financial risk in choosing this asset class. Like, hey, I better not need this money next year because one, the money could be very liquid, and two, like it could be down. So you'd be like, oh, I was really counting on this money, and now I just have to wait for my rate to cover. So that's why you want different buckets. So you want money in the savings account, a checking account for your monthly needs, and you have your emergency fund, which is should be 3 to 6 months plus an extra like $2,000 as a sink fund, just so you can handle if the couch breaks or what, like you need a new person furniture, dishwasher breaks, dryer breaks, washer breaks, something with the car. You just want to make sure that you have money that is liquid. So that's why you want the savings account for your emergency fund, just a little bit of interest, but not getting much. It's probably like 1/10%. It's better than your checking account, but it is what it is because of policies of the Federal Reserve to kickstart the economy. Interest rates are so low, so it's really good for borrowers, not so good for savers. So, with the rule of 72, if you're trying to help make that money grow, it's not going to do very well. If you're going to go, hey, a diversified portfolio, you're getting 6.41% according to this. That could be that could depend on what you're having, but hey, you're gonna, instead of going down 19%, you could be up or down 20%. So you got to look at your timeline in life. Like as a 20-year-old investor, you're like, hey, I can afford to get these higher returns because I don't need this money in my 401k or my IRA for the next 40 years. So let me try to put this money in this area so I have more growth opportunities. But as you get closer to retirement, you're like, say, hey, I'm 10 years away from retirement. I don't want, if the market goes down 40% like it did in 2008, I don't want to wait 5 years for my money to recover. And the Federal Reserve and Congress can help speed that number up, or we can slow it down. We don't know. The key thing is we want to make sure that we have a plan to help us reach our financial goals. So as a young investor, that rule of 72 is like, okay, how can I make my money work for myself, and so that I can still accomplish my goals and live my best life and everything. If you're going to go more conservative with the rule of 72, the idea is you have to contribute more money into that account. So if your money's going to double every, let's say, 4 years, if you get a 4% return, that means your money's going to double every 18 years. So if your money doubles every 18 years compared to every 7.2 years, you're going to have to put more money away into that account. So 4.2%, a 4% return would be something like bonds, according to this chart, is getting 5.03% over a 20-year period. And these numbers can change. So the idea is that these are just supposed to give you guidelines in terms of the growth opportunities over the next 20 years. Like, if I want to get the highest returns, REITs, but you have to deal with the volatility. And there's also some liquidity. So liquidity means that if you want to pull your money out, you might not be able to pull your money out right away. You might have to wait a couple months to actually get that money. There's a difference between actual investing in a REIT and a REIT ETF. An ETF would be more liquid, but you just have to look at what you're investing in and everything. And usually as a philosopher myself, I just tell people diversify portfolios for your stuff, and if you have extra, then you could do more. But the idea is know the deal before you accept the deal. A lot of I heard stories on CNN or what on news sources about people borrowing a lot of money for Bitcoin. Like, I'm gonna borrow $100,000, and they saw this or they just took all their money in their 401k. That's $100,000, and they just put it all in Bitcoin. And when they bought it out at $20,000 a coin, and now it's at $13,000. So, ouch. That is something that's not fun. But the idea is you want to understand, this has a lot of growth opportunities, but there's also a lot of volatility. You want to make sure that with a diversified portfolio, you're not going to have great years, but you can have a great life because you have that consistency to help you weather any storm over the next 40 years. You just gotta ask yourself, how much financial risk am I willing to take? And the rule of 72 can help you understand, what do I need to help me get to my financial goals? If I want to retire at age 65 and I want $5,000, just hey, this is scenario A with the with a conservative portfolio, here's a scenario with a moderate portfolio, and here's one with an aggressive portfolio with all stocks inside of it. And yeah, we don't know what the future holds and everything, but the idea is like, hey, just let's understand everything, but realize that. And I could share this chart. If you hear something outside that's Colombia, they let the aguateros. See, I think that was the people that sell the avocados here. They usually have a PA system hustling, so I don't think that was them because it's a busy street. I haven't heard them yet here, but yeah, today's my last day in Cali, Colombia. Going to be heading off to Manizales, Colombia tomorrow. Small town, but it has up in the mountains, and supposed to go on a pretty good hike this Sunday. So the idea with the rule of 72 is take 72 and divide it by your rate of return, and that's going to tell you how many times it's going to double and everything. And you can use a financial calculator to say, hey, I'm starting at zero, I'm putting $200 away in 360 months, which is 30 years. If I'm putting $200 away, I'm getting this rate of return. This is how much money I should have by the end of 30 years. If you're going to do 480, that's 40 years. And you got to see if that's enough. And when you're doing those calculations, you got to figure out inflation. And that's what I do as a financial planner, is I do all that heavy lifting for people. And just like, hey, you tell me what you have, I'll tell you what you can do. And then we'll see how we need to work together. Just be that coach to help you live your best life. So I'm going to put this contest that I'm doing. So I'm also big into time management. I posted something yesterday about procrastination. The idea is, once you have the right strategy and you have the right tools, then that can help you accomplish a lot of stuff. And life is short, and we have to realize, like, hey, what are the things that we need to do to help us live our best life? And time management really helps with that. You focus on what's important and you ignore everything else. So what I'm doing is giving away 2 coaching sessions for time management. Those are about 2 hours each, valued at $300. But my idea is to help you save you time. Like, so if I could help save you 10 hours a month in doing tasks that you don't like to do and focus the 10 hours on something you really enjoy, that's 120 hours you get back in your life. And then you could just figure out what is the next thing that you need to do, because what's important right now in 2020 might not be important in 2021. So make sure you sign up for that time management course to help you if you have trouble with time management, or if you know anybody with trouble with time management, just share that link with them, sign up for yourself. And and that's all I got for today about the rule of 72. Everything applies to each other, and you can apply this concept to your personal development as well. If you invest in yourself and you're getting an 8% return versus not investing in yourself, you're getting a 1% return. Yeah, it's the difference is gonna be there. So yeah, I'd rather get a 10% return myself or even higher, and I do that by investing in myself constantly, by reading books and everything. And right now I'm reading the Mentor to Millionaire or Millionaire Mentor. I don't know. I just came across this book, across this podcast I listened to. They're like, hey, buy this book, get all these freebies. And I bought the book, and I got all the freebies to help me with my business. So it's pretty interesting book. Kind of a lot of stuff I already heard before. But the idea is, like, when you read, I'm at like 240 books I've read so far. And once you read those type of books, you read a lot of the same stuff, but there's stuff that you can there's like one piece of nugget that could make it all worth it. So there's construction going on, so I'm going to let you go, and hope you enjoyed today's video. And remember, if you go with Joe, you can grow with Joe, because Joe knows Joe. All right. Take care.